What's up, everyone? It's Caddy with Money Investing. So, quite a bit of a day here starting off. The jobless claims numbers came out, so we're gonna break that down possibly. But the markets right now, the Dow is outperforming the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq. So we're gonna open up some charts here. So good morning, good morning. Welcome on board. Super excited to have you guys here. So tomorrow is actually a more important day relative to today and yesterday. So yesterday we learned a little bit about the jobs market. We did come in, I think, close to over 500,000 jobs added in the month of June, which is very normal, but it was a little bit lower than the expected number. So month over month, I think they were actually going down in the number of jobs actually added. But the labor market, so unemployment rate, is expected to potentially drop down to 5.4%, currently sitting at roughly 5.8. So we'll see that drop if that actually happens. But let me know in the live chat if you guys can see the screen, if you guys can hear me without any issues. We should be good to go. So let me know if you guys can see me, if you guys can hear me, and we should be all set. Just gonna make sure that the link is there for our Discord people. So here, let me see if I can paste this. Yeah, I don't know why it's not. Alright, anyway, so alright, so it's looking good. Yes, I can hear you and see you. Perfect. Audio, video is good. So if you guys hear the fan in the background, I do apologize because right now in India it's like incredibly hot. It's like over 110 degrees. So I do apologize for if there's any type of background sound, but it's really really hot and humid over here. Alright, so let's take a quick look on the markets here. So QQQ ETF is down about 6 basis points here. The Dow Jones ETF, ticker symbol DIA, is up over 21 basis points, and we got the S&P, which is a SPY, up over 16 basis points as well. So we did see a little bit of a pullback, and now we're just kind of consolidating sideways. Heat waves everywhere, it seems. Yes, there is. All right, so this right here is a quick breakdown on the jobs numbers. So, well, initial claims number, not the jobs number, but weekly jobless claims total hits new pandemic era low of 364,000. So this is for the last week. So they're always reported on the Thursday of every week for the prior week, coming in at 364,000, below 390,000. That was the estimate. So this is actually the first time we're coming in the lowest since the pandemic has actually began. So 374 was this week. Then we went up to 418, came down to 415, and now we're sitting at 364. So definitely seeing improvement in this number. And the report comes a day before the government releases its much anticipated non-farm payrolls report count for the month of June. So that's again going to be the US reported number for jobs. Rita left messages on Patreon for her members when you have a chance. Yes, I will respond to that. I woke up this morning, to a lot of messages, so I'll have to get back to those for sure. Right after the live stream, I'm going over all of those things, so taking care of all that. So I appreciate your patience, and thank you so much for that. So all right, so that is expected to show a gain of 706,000 against May's 559,000 jobs, and a decrease in unemployment rate to 5.6. So not 5.4, but 5.6%. And the most recent data will not figure into the June numbers from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, as it is outside the survey week used for that report. So this right here is going to be OPEC's meeting, which I think was on Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken. I think we had it on the calendar. But so OPEC and allies decide on crude production policy as oil climbs, demand recovers. So OPEC and non-OPEC partners, Energy Alliance, often referred to as OPEC Plus, convene via video conference on Tuesday afternoon. So I think it might be next Tuesday. The meeting comes at a time when OPEC Plus relatively upbeat about the improved market conditions and the outlook for fuel demand growth, following a sharp rebound in oil prices. So oil prices are actually hitting a 2-year high, right? So we got about UK, which is going to be crude oil. Crude and Brent both are trading as high as 74, 75, even as high as $77 per barrel. So, definitely seeing oil prices push up. As a result, energy companies, Exxon, Chevron, are pushing higher, of course, with that. And that's, in a way, that's also going to be good for EVs, because as gas prices move up, maybe more and more people are going to switch over to electric vehicles for the cheaper version of electricity powered vehicles versus combustion engine, where you're paying a lot of money in gasoline. So that right there, I'll keep you guys updated on oil prices and OPEC meeting as well. But Tesla, let's take a look. We are up over 78 basis points right now, trading past over 684. NEO reported their delivery numbers, so I'm going to break that down very quickly. We're up over 3.27%, trading just shy of $55 per share. This right here is the delivery numbers, a record over 8,000 deliveries for the month of June. So absolutely incredible here. So, all right, that's a great question. So, can you explain shortly about when to take profit for both swing trades and long-term positions when you go long and you go in and out? So, for long-term positions, I rarely would take profit only because it's not yet at my price target. So for AMD, for example, right? Very simple example. AMD is a long-term position. If it gets to 110, that's my price target in the short term over the next 12 months. If it gets to that level, then I'll reassess, right? Whether AMD needs to be repriced, whether I need to bump up my price target to maybe 125, depending on the business, or if 110 is an opportunity, is a price target that I have for AMD to kind of trim my position. Swing trades is a little bit different. So when we put out those swing trading ideas, not all trades are going to be picture perfect, right? As the trade progresses, we have to kind of readjust and assess the market, right? Sometimes we may hit our targets. Sometimes we may exceed our targets. Sometimes we may come a little bit short of our targets. So not all trades are perfect. We just have to kind of manage our trade and kind of position ourselves to make sure that we're limiting our downside as the stock price moves higher. So, very simple example is on Fiverr, right? Ticker symbol FBRR. We had a trade setup. It went up beyond our target at close to 230 was the resistance and the target for 8% jump. We went up all the way to highs of 251. So yes, we did leave money on the table there, but it can very well get rejected at the level and start curling back down, which has happened for a lot of companies, right? So a lot of companies that actually did hit our target started to move back down. So Autodesk was another example that actually did push up, and then now we're starting to see a little bit of consolidation. So you want to really kind of manage that trade accordingly and have trailing stops is what I encourage for people to at least limit your downside, and as the stock price moves up, you're kind of moving up your stop with it, so as to you're covering your profits as well, so you're capturing in your gains. And it doesn't mean that you have to sell all. You can maybe sell a little bit partial position and let the other ones run to see where that next resistance is going to be. So for swing trades, it's more like managing that trade along the way, but for long-term positions, it's more like letting it go until your targets are achieved, for the price targets that you have. So 8,000 delivery vehicles in the month of June here. So XLE to the moon. I'll go over that in just a second. So Jason, welcome. Diva, good morning. What are we thinking about UPSD? Literally crashed end of day yesterday. Yes, that was one of the things that I was really worried about yesterday. So in our Discord, I mentioned that it needs to close about 134.50 in order for us to see a successful breakout over the high from June 24th. I'll go over that pattern in just a second, but I want to quickly go over, finish up NEO, and then we'll jump over to Upstart. We'll go over Airbnb because Airbnb had a strong recovery yesterday. Nobody was expecting that. We were up a little bit over 4.5%, and today pre-market we're up another 1%. But NEO with record deliveries over 8,000. So again, coming in at 116% jump from June 2020 till June 2021. So if you take into account the same month last year, that's 116% jump. If you take into account quarter over quarter increase, that's a 9% jump. So from Q1 to Q2, from 20,060 vehicles to now just roughly 22,000. That's almost a 9% jump. Month over month, coming in from May to June, that's a 20% jump, and year over year, that's a jump of almost 112%. So across the board, I think NEO did a really good job with the best-selling vehicle ES6 selling in at close to 3,755 vehicles, EC6 is at close to 2,830, and ES8s at close to 1,500. So very, very pleased with that report from NEO, and again, record quarter for the company as well. They've never really done roughly 22,000 vehicles, hitting the higher estimate of their guidance. So very, very excited about the future earnings as well. And now I can forecast that they're going to roughly do $1.4 billion in revenue for just vehicle revenue, and then you tag along the NEO autonomous driving, battery as a service, which by the way are now close to 300 so far this year, with 6 months still left to go. So moving in the right direction, very pleased with that number, and looking forward to the future earnings call and where they sit with the revenues, the margins, and potentially their path to profitability by the end of this year, if not in Q1 2022, which is also when they're going to be releasing the ET7, which is also going to drive up their margins even higher. So $55 is the number today. You guys already know that. If I come over to the 4-hour chart, You'll notice that we have traded almost exactly at $55 level, so that is the next target, that is the next resistance level to watch, and of course the high for pre-market is $55.25. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the live chat, what do you guys think? Are we going to get a breakout over $55, or if you're going to see some type of a pullback below $55, potentially back down to 49.50 levels? Because technically speaking, yes, it would make sense, why we are due for some type of a pullback or a correction. Talking about the RSI, the MACD just doesn't get more overbought than this. This was the prior trend higher, symmetrical triangle, and a breakout to the upside. So $55 is the next level. So breakout and test 55.60 by Friday with breakout. So Freestyle says, what is your current view on the market cap? So NIO's market cap is roughly sitting at $80 billion, which I know that a lot of people can make a case for it being overvalued. But if you really think about some of the forward price to earnings, price to sales ratios, talking about 2025, 2022 earnings and sales numbers, I think it's still very reasonable when you don't just look at the company from an electric vehicle perspective, right? NIO in general is working towards so many different things, a lot of things that we don't even know about and are not even covered by the media, because of the fact that NIO Capital as a company owns so many subsidiaries, so many different companies, right? So they're just such a user-centric company that it's not just about electric vehicles, but it's a lot more than that. Which is why in the future, I do see NIO trading at a premium valuation if it can be very, very successful in China, which I am betting that it is going to be one of the biggest brands in China for NIO as a company. So it's not just an electric vehicle company. From an EV metric, yes, we can make a strong case that NIO is overvalued at this market cap right now, but in the future they are tapping into a lot of different things, which I believe are still, there's a lot of growth in the future right now. All right, so let's take a quick look. So we are going above $55. John says 57. Rasmus says I wouldn't mind going back to 50. Dave says $50. Paul says $100. So yeah, my price target is at $75, and we are moving up a little bit too fast. Not gonna lie. So keep a close eye at $55. We're just trading roughly at that level with about 10 minutes left for the markets to open, and then we'll see if the RSI does pull back, if we do correct. Because right now the broader markets, you'll notice the Nasdaq is flat with the Dow Jones up over 26 and the S&P is up over 20 basis points. So tech is getting a little bit of a weakness right now. Let's take a quick look on Tesla here. So we're up over 77 basis points for Tesla as well. I'm not sure if Li Auto or XPeng also released their delivery numbers. Let me take a quick look, because usually they do release it on the first of the month. So I don't see it yet. So I only see one headline, which is NIO shakes off chip shortages with more than 8,000 deliveries in June. So I don't see any catalyst for XPeng or Li Auto. They usually have, so XPeng delivery numbers are out. Hyro says. So let me see if I can find that. All right, so this is the XPeng report. So XPeng announces vehicle delivery results for June and second quarter 2021. So 6,656 vehicles delivered in June 2021. They're actually not that far off from NIO's monthly number, right? So record month with a 617% increase year over year. That's absolutely incredible. And 17,400 vehicles for the second quarter 2021, delivered with 400% increase year over year. 4,730 P7s delivered in June 2021, with the highest monthly deliveries since P7's launches, and 30,000 total cumulative deliveries year to date, 459% increase. So that, of course, is also a big number for XPeng. Let's take a quick look on how much they're up. So they're up over 4% right now. A strong move to the upside, continuing to push higher. So Shuri, thank you so much. I really appreciate that donation, and thank you so much for that. And let me know if there's any stock that you want me to go over, and I can analyze that for you as well. So yeah, so XPeng stock rose 63.7% here after delivery numbers came out. Yeah, so yeah, that's true. So Katie says you got to also think that we hit these prices beginning of this year, and with more news and catalysts have come out, so I think we're staying at these prices. So I think there's a strong case that people can make that these Chinese EV companies are either fairly valued or a little bit slightly overvalued. But if you start projecting out in the future, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years out, these numbers are still going to look very, very sort of cheap 5 years from now, in my opinion. But right now, as it stands, like currently, yes, we can make a case that it's fairly valued at today's prices. All right, so let's take a quick look at Upstart UPST. So UPST is now starting to move up a little bit, but yesterday was kind of like a rejection at close to 134.50, right? So this was the resistance that I talked about in our Discord at close to 134.50 levels. That is the candle from June 24th. And yesterday's high was 134.38, and then a lot of selling pressure kicked in. Now you'll notice that we are just consolidating, right? It's a pattern that's just trading sideways for the last like 9 days, 10 days. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So almost like 3 weeks worth of trading. Upstart hasn't really moved anywhere, right? We have just traded between 134 and the low has been closer to like 114. So we've just been consolidating sideways. So it can be seen as a bear flag, which is why I'm very cautious on this position. We did take a starter position, a little bit, very small position on this right now. And I do plan on adding more if we dip down to like 110, even as low as 100. That's going to be kind of like my cue to add more shares on Upstart, which is why I'm more cautious right now. But we also have to understand that this level, this higher low, is still continuing to get validated, right? This is the ascending support inside that ascending triangle for Upstart. So we're seeing a little bit of a push higher. So if I go over to the 4-hour chart, you'll notice that we are pushing a little bit. But the only question is whether we see a breakdown below those moving averages. So right here, and the higher low. So if that breakdown happens, we're gonna look something, we're gonna see something like breakdown, come back down to 109, 109, 110, and kind of consolidate at that level to see if we do see a further breakdown or if we find some type of a support at that level. If not, then this right here is the analysis for a potential upside and a breakout past over 160, 170 levels. That's going to be an upside of close to 47, 50%. So I would say the probability is that we do see a breakout, considering the higher lows and the fact that we are slightly trading above some of the moving averages pre-market. But again, if the volume doesn't pick up, if we see a failed breakout once again, because yesterday's Upstart chart was just incredible, right? So you'll notice that we did rally all the way to highs of 134, triple top resistance at that level, right? This is the 1 minute chart. So triple top resistance for Upstart here, got rejected once, twice, 3 times, and then all the way back down, like literally all the way down, back down to like 130, 124. Right, so we close at 124.90. So that's the only weakness I have, is that it needs to close about 134, 134.50-ish level. That's a triple top resistance. That's also resistance coming in from June 24th. So that would be the level I would watch very closely. If you get a breakout, then I could see some more follow through and some more continuation for Upstart. So Chad, is it too late to get in for a swing trade? Again, so swing trade, I would be cautious because it is forming some type of a bear flag here for Upstart, and also the weakness that we saw triple top resistance here. So if we get a failed breakout, then we could see some more downside. But I'm taking this more of a long-term play. That is for me, because I'm doing fundamental analysis on DD, which is going to be ticker symbol DIDI. I'm doing more fundamental analysis on Upstart, Airbnb, Uber, and some other companies as well. So I wouldn't mind if it drops down, but if you do have a swing trade on this, make sure that you have a tight stop limit right underneath this ascending support or the higher low, because that would be a trend breakdown, considering that we have validated this level 3 times or 4 times, right? So we've tagged this level once, twice, three times, 4 times. So that would be a breakdown below this level. All right, let's go over to. So you Upstart got destroyed. What does a up 10% down to 1% in a day mean though? It just means there was a lot of weakness. It just means that there was a lot of weakness at that level. So I don't have access to level 2 right now, but if anybody did, I'm sure you'll find a lot of orders, sell orders, sitting right here at this resistance, right at that level, because this triple top resistance is not a coincidence. It's not lucky or anything. It's just, it's there for a reason, right? We got rejected here for a reason. So there is resistance there. And until buyers and there's demand there for us to absorb all that supply and break out successfully, break through that wall, then we can see a more upside potential here. Do you think there will be another tech wreck in July, Caddy? So that's a great question. I don't think there's going to be a significant crash or anything like that. I've said this multiple times. In my opinion, there's no risk out there. There's nothing that we don't know that's going to lead to a potential crash in the markets. Correction, maybe, right? Pullback, Absolutely, right? We're gonna see days when the Nasdaq and the S&P are gonna be down 1%, 2% some days. So that's normal, which is why I think it's time for me to and everybody else to kind of like position yourselves the best way you can to raise more capital, to have those as buying opportunities. And trust me, if the markets do pull back, I have a buy list where I am going to be adding a lot more shares for a lot of companies, right? Mostly tech and growth names that I'm going to be bullish on and going, kind of double down on in the future as well if we do see a correction and a pullback once again. Quick update on advanced micro devices. So AMD, we're now down close to 3 basis points, up 34 basis points. It's really volatile right now pre-market. I don't know what's going on. Let's take a quick look on the 5-minute chart here. So slightly down here in this candle on the 5-minute chart. So earlier we were trading as 94, close to 94.78. So pre-market there is a double top resistance at this 94.75 level. So that's the breakout that we need to see for AMD stock. AMD buys are moving over to NEO. Yep, so AMD has a resistance at close to 94.75. That's a pre-market level I would watch. That's the breakout that we need. And let's just switch over our board to our chart here. And we're going to look at NEO in the top left. We're going to pull up AMD. Actually, we're going to do Tesla over here. And we're going to do AMD on the bottom right. And let's just put Palantir to start, and we'll see where we go. Palantir had a drop 1% yesterday, 1% pre-market today. I'd say the pre-market support it needs to hold up is going to be 26 bucks. Just that level right there. The bottom left right there. $27. $26 right there. Again, support from yesterday's after hours. And support from yesterday as well, 26.21 in pre-market. We're just hovering over that level. AMD seeing a little bit of a pullback once again, like I said, at close to this resistance, double top resistance 94.75. All right, so we've already gone over the calendar for the month of July. So we got a lot of earnings coming up, tech earnings specifically. They're coming up. AMD is reporting later this month. DD, that's a great question, Top Trader. I will be doing some analysis and research on DD as well. We did look at it yesterday a little bit. I think traded at close to $14. So right now it's trading at $15.60, up over 10% right now. So the markets are now open. All right, let's take a quick look in the Nasdaq here, down about 15 basis points, seeing that selling pressure with the Dow up over 25, and the S&P is also up over 18 basis points right now. And Tesla seeing a little bit of a pullback down to 682. And NEO opened higher at up over 2.6%. Let's see how much of those gains we actually do give back, right? AMD still struggling a little bit, down about 32 basis points. And we got Palantir down about 2 wow, look at that candle all the way down here. I didn't even notice. It's down over 2.2%. All right, so the buyers are starting to step up a little bit for EVs here, with the NEO back up to over 54.60, Tesla back up to over 684. Let's see if AMD has any buying pressure here to bring us back over 94.75. So Uber pushing up. So Uber was also one of our plays starting to push up, so that's good. So, all right, let's take a quick look. Chinese EVs have been running up so much. When does it end? That's a great question. I think this is, again, the numbers are out. So the next catalyst for NEO more specifically is the NEO Power Day coming up on July 9th. But other than that, wouldn't be surprised if we do get a red day or something, from Chinese EV companies very, very soon, only because of the momentum that we've seen lately and the fact that, technically speaking, we are overbought. So XPeng still kind of rallying up over 5%, right? With the NEO now giving up most of the gains here. Let's take a quick look on the S&P, up over 23. The Dow is up over 20. And the Nasdaq is pretty much flat on the day right now. I need a red day so I can buy. Look at Tesla getting on the move here, up over 1%. NEO giving up most of those gains now, back up down to $54. And AMD is also down about 1% here. with Palantir down over 1.7. Let's take a quick look on something other than tech here. Let's go over to energy. Exxon, Chevron probably green today. So there we go. So Exxon's up over 1.4, Chevron's up over 1.6. Some of the Dow 30 stocks here. So we got Exxon, Chevron, we already covered. UNH is up over 79 basis points. Caterpillar, 31 basis points. Coca-Cola, JPM. By the way, a lot of banking earnings coming up later this month. We have them on the calendar. So Bank of America, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs are all reporting their earnings, right? And then we got IBM that's up, 3M, Visa, Intel slightly down. Past few days we've seen rotation from Intel over to AMD. And Microsoft also seeing a little bit of a pullback. But Tesla, look at that. 687. And there are starting to buyers kind of step in for NEO as well. AMD needs to catch some bids here to see a little bit of momentum back up. Otherwise, like usually if we do get a drastic drop in the beginning, like in the first like 10, 15, 20 minutes, it becomes a little bit difficult for us to retrace back up to that resistance and potentially make high of days. If we get some buying pressure here, that there's still a chance. Otherwise, we are trading below the VWAP, we're trading below the moving averages. It's just a downtrending channel. All right, let's take a quick look on some of these growth companies. So NNDM's up over 2.8. We got Airbnb that's up over 1.2. Fiverr's up over 1. Etsy's up over 69 basis points. Digital Turbine's up over 1.5. Mara pushing higher slightly, up over 39 basis points. Roblox pulling back. Walgreens, what's going on with Walgreens? Walgreens with a huge drop. Wow, what happened here? They weren't reporting their earnings or anything, right? Yeah, I don't have the earnings on the calendar here for today. Does anybody know why Walgreens is down so much? So, alright, so Walgreens Boots Alliance raised its 2021 adjusted earnings growth forecast on Thursday. Alright, so they did report their earnings, I believe, after higher pharmacy sales and widespread vaccine rollouts in the United States helped it beat third quarter revenue expectations. So they're just dropping on revenue beat and earnings. Walgreens have been relying on the gains from administering vaccines to tide over the losses from low prescription volumes and a weak flu season. The company said it had administered more than 25 million vaccinations to date out of 326.5 million shots given in the United States as of June 30th. Same-store prescriptions filled at Walgreens pharmacies rose 9.8% in the quarter, including 6% boost in the vaccine. So there may be opportunity to actually get in on Walgreens here because they got a decent dividend here. Let's take a quick look on the 4-hour chart. Yeah, that's a huge drop on earnings at 7.49%. Support I would probably most certainly get in at close to 46.65, aligned with this double bottom support here, aligned with that 200 SMA. If we get down to that level, we may buy something live. I don't know if you're gonna see that low. We'll keep it on watch, right? We'll keep it on the alerts. All right, let's take a quick look. So Tesla up over almost 1%. AMD is still struggling, down about 73 basis points, which is fine. Simply a little bit of a pullback here and a breather. NEO seeing some buyers step in, so we're seeing that longer wick. So that's good. Still up close to 2%, and we're seeing Palantir also step up with that push higher. All right, so Walgreens continue to make lows of 48.50. So yeah, ARK sold Palantir. I saw that. I think it's only 700,000 shares. It's not a huge deal. I think it's just a rebalancing thing because they own over 28 million shares between their two ETFs. So 700,000 shares is less than 3% of their holding, which is very normal. It doesn't mean that their conviction is actually changing on the stock. They do that on a regular basis. They've actually sold Tesla in the past. They've sold Square. They've sold a lot of different companies in the past to buy something else, right? It's either a rebalancing to keep that exposure in that company to a certain level because Palantir's also moved up 60-70% in the last few weeks, or B, they're basically freeing up some cash to buy something else. That's it. So NEO's still holding up a little bit as buyers are stepping in. So if you go over to the 1 minute chart, we are starting to push back up higher. I would say 54.65, if you can break that level, feel a lot more comfortable here. Alright, let's take a quick look on the QQQ and the Dow. So we're seeing a little bit of a rotation here. The Nasdaq is up over 9 basis points and the Dow is actually only up 3 basis points. That's interesting. Who brought that up? Michael, thank you so much for mentioning that. So Airbnb with a breakout over 156. Let's take a quick look. So there we go. There's the trade, and we had that. We just had a little bit of a pullback here, fake out, false breakdown, and then a reversal back up, which is pretty significant. Now we're trading above the moving averages. I now expect Airbnb to actually push higher even further. So this was obviously shared with our Patreon members. Gonna send a quick update on this one. But yeah, strong move from Airbnb, now up over 2.7%. Clover Health is down over 2% here. Roblox also pulling back, which is fine, right? So a lot of stocks have actually rallied in the past. I want to be very clear. So like Roblox, we had a trade. It's very normal for them to take a little bit of a breather, right? So now we're sitting above the 21 EMA. We're sitting above the $89 support, which is very normal, right? Spotify, we had a trade on that. 279 was the resistance. And you'll notice that we got tagged at that 200 SMA, and we're now just starting to consolidate a little bit, right? So we're just moving sideways. So, which is very normal for us to see a bit of a pullback before we see the next leg up higher for these companies. So, NEO seeing a little bit more room. Palantir continuing on this downtrend here. And Walgreens is also pulling back. Let's take a quick look on AMD here. Still down about 71 basis points. Tesla seeing some weakness as well. Let's take a quick look on AMC. So, AMC pretty much flat. Up just about 7 basis points. So, just flat movement. $60 is a strong resistance for AMC, right? That's a very strong resistance. So Ifini, wow, that's a tough name to pronounce. I do apologize, but so the Patreon link should be down in the description below. We did open up some spots today, so July 1st. Usually the first of the month is the best time to join because that gives you access to everything. So again, we've got limited spots available if you want to get access to that. If not, you can send me an email as well. And if you want me to save you a spot or open up a spot for you, we can also do that. So NEO starting to see some recovery here. We're seeing some push higher over the 21 EMA. So the high for the day, 54.80. Let's see if we can actually get a breakout over this level. All right, so 54.65. The alert just went off. There we go. So we're seeing some more momentum. 54.74. So let's see if we actually break out over the high of day to see some more continuation back up to over $55. So we just made high of day at 54.91. And of course, pre-market high is going to be, we're sitting roughly at $55.26, 27 cents. So yeah, UPSD is also running. Let's just pull that up over here. So yep, we're up over 4% on this. Did buy in a little bit yesterday as well on Upstart, and again, I do plan on adding more. It's just trying to figure out which direction it's going to break towards, right? Still roughly at the higher lows, and if it does push higher, regardless, I'm going to establish a position in this one because fundamentally this is a strong company. And I want to be very clear, it's times like these where fundamentals matters most, like valuation wise, it is the most important thing in a market where every day is like green and you get this feeling of euphoria where you don't want to miss out on a trade, but valuations matter most at these times. So keep a close eye on those fundamentals, right? That's why I wanted to break down the PE ratios in our yesterday's market update video. So Gus says, if I make another 50K on NEO, I'm joining your Patreon today. Just kidding, I'm joining regardless of your best. Congratulations, but that's awesome. That's great. Yeah, and I'm super excited for everyone, right? Earlier, when we were testing lows of $44, $45, we had like close to 95, 96% of total investors that were currently profitable. And now I was looking at Webull yesterday. In fact, I can look at it very quickly today to see where most of the traders on a NEO stock are actually sitting when it comes to the actual cost of breakdown. So it gives us a good understanding on the price action. So let's just take a look. So right now the average cost of breakdown for NEO is sitting at $42.02. And there are over 97% of currently all shares in the market are profitable. So that's great, right? That's fantastic. And I've seen this number come down to less than 1%. That was scary. Scary when we saw that number to less than 1%, right? But NEO recovered and a lot of investors bought the dips and we're back up. All right, so we'll see if that resistance gets hit at close to $55.27, 25 cents as a high for the day. Tesla's starting to pull back a little bit. Let's take a quick look on the Dow and the NASDAQ. So Dow Jones up over 12 basis points. I don't know if this is actually right. Why do I feel that this is not right? Let me just pull up the index. Yeah, okay, so this is right. So Dow is only up 13 basis points with the NASDAQ up 14. Okay, so that is actually right. Because I wasn't sure. I was like, the Dow was up so much more than the NASDAQ. How is it that it's now down relative to where the NASDAQ is trading? But anyway, let's take a quick look at Upstart here. Still seeing that move to the upside and a potential breakout over that 21 EMA. It's just that we haven't really closed above that level, right? Every time we have traded above those levels, the sellers have kicked us back down. So that's the only thing that I'm concerned about. Let's take a quick look on DD. So still up over 8% on the day, but a red candle suggests that we are seeing some weakness intraday and some selling pressure. Still doing my fundamental analysis on this company. I think the valuation was roughly 60-70 billion roughly, something like that. So still doing my valuation analysis on this and fundamentals and whether it makes sense or not. So I'll probably do like a separate video on it because right now we don't have anything here. So this, and there's another company that I'm actually doing some analysis on, so I will definitely post that over on the YouTube, so you guys will definitely see that. But just from a technical standpoint, looking at the pattern here, there is going to be some support technically at close to, this level at close to $15. And there is going to be some resistance over here without a doubt, because we've just been getting rejected at that level like several times at close to 15.75. So alerts at DD for here. Alright, so let's take a quick look on Micron. So Micron's actually a good one. They had a quadruple beat. This actually may be setting up for a good opportunity as well. So this is definitely on my watch list. And the reason is because they had a quadruple beat on revenue, EPS, strong future guidance as well. So let me see if I can find that catalyst very quickly. Right, it's right here. Yep, so Micron late Wednesday reported Q3 non-GAAP net income of $1.88 per share compared with 82 cents per share earlier. Analyst expectations were $1.71. Revenue for the quarter ended June 3rd totaled $7.42 billion, up from $5.44 billion in the year ago period. Analysts expecting $7.26 billion. So again, quadruple beat there. And the Idaho-based supplier of flash memory and semiconductors for data storage projects Q4 non-GAAP EPS of $2.20 or $2.40 on revenues of $8 billion to $8.4 billion, and the street view for non-GAAP EPS is $2.18 and $7.86 billion. So strong earnings report, talking about the fundamentals very quickly here. So just so we get a good surface level information here. So trading at almost 30 times earnings, which is in my opinion in the semiconductor space very cheap. Let's take a quick look at the gross margins here for the company. So gross margins are low, right? So 26% is not something that I would prefer for gross margins, but net margins close to almost 10%. I mean, AMD is trading at roughly 47% gross margins. Nvidia is roughly over 50. Intel is also pretty up there. So I think that's one of the reasons why it's trading at a lower valuation. But 4 times sales. Let's take a quick look on the balance sheet. So yep, very little to no cash. Well, little to no debt with reasonable amount of cash here. So I think it's definitely setting up for a buying opportunity, considering that it's down so much from its all-time highs, over 16%. $74 is kind of like my buy point. If it comes down to that level, comes down to that 200 SMA aligns well, and then it's going to form some type of a head and shoulders pattern. So if you do see a breakdown, then I'll personally be more inclined to adding more at the next support at close to $68. So my buy point at close to $74. Let's see if we actually do get a breakdown to that level. But eventually I do see a recovery back up to new all-time highs. So I know MRIN was a stock that was running up higher yesterday, like the last few days. And today it's up like another 51%. I haven't really looked into the stock. It was brought up a few times in our Discord, but I didn't really get a chance to look at it. So cloud-based digital advertising management company provides cross-channel, cross-device enterprise marketing software platform for search, social, and display advertising channels. So very interesting here. I personally don't like the fundamental, like the revenues, so declining revenues since 2017. Let's take a quick look on the balance sheet here. So balance sheet is decent. The solvency ratios are okay. It's trading at 6 times sales, and the margins are 48% gross margins, which are also good. So fundamentally, it actually doesn't make for like a super terrible play. It's actually a good company fundamentally. It's just the revenues have been declining year over year. So I would need to do some more research. But of course, it goes without saying that technically this is way too overbought. So if you got in earlier, congratulations. But again, personally, I would not touch this at these levels right now because we can see those significant drops. And these moves, when they happen, you have to like either be early on this, but if you're looking to establish a new position here, you have to understand the risk reward is kind of skewed to the downside, right? There's a little bit more downside here than there's upside because the majority of the move has already taken place, right? 900% gain in the last like 4 or 5 days. That has already happened for this stock. All right, so NEO now starting to turn red. Tesla now starting to turn red, which is very normal. And we got AMC slightly down. AMD is probably going to be red as well. Yep, so we're slightly down about 30 basis points. And we got Upstart pulling back a little bit, up still over 2.3%. Let's take a quick look on Palantir. So down about 3% here. So, all right, Bernardo, thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. Let's take a quick look on ARKK. So ARK up over, well, actually down about 20 basis points, and it has seen a significant recovery as a lot of the tech and growth names also rallied. So it's up over 34% from its lows from May 14th. So a lot of the patterns are very similar to this one. So I would watch somewhat of this resistance at close to $130. Again, the R side of the MACD is overbought here, so I would be cautious at these levels moving forward, only because of the overextended moves that we've seen. Now that being said, the support that we need to watch is going to be sitting roughly at 120. 120 is going to be the next level here, kind of aligned with that 21 EMA. And we've got a previous support for ARK Invest ETF here coming in from December 29th. So that would be the level to watch for ARK. Would not be surprised if we do get a pullback here over 6%. So come back down, validate that support, and then see the next breakout over $130 per share for ARK back up to new all-time highs. So that really depends on where growth companies go, right? So from an ETF perspective, it's good for us to kind of take a look at where it's trading, but most of it is getting derived from the underlying holdings. So if you get a handle of where those underlying stocks are trading, that's going to be a good representation. It'll give you a better idea on what could happen versus simply analyzing the ETF per se, because the ETF in general trades off of those underlying stocks, right? The movement of those underlying stocks. So that's what's most important here. All right, so Ruby says, I joined as an investor. Welcome on board. That's awesome. All right, so DD is crossing over 1575. So we're seeing a little bit of a breakout over that level. So there we go. We're now starting to see that breakout over 1575. That is a resistance that we were struggling at, now up over 12%. So we could see some more follow through and continuation for this pattern moving forward as well. Yeah, so all right, let's take a quick look on. So Andre, AMD, is it a good buy? Let's take a quick look on the daily chart for advanced micro devices. So yeah, this right here, resistance at close to $94. We got rejected yesterday at 94.18. Well, yesterday we got rejected at 94.34. Today's high is 94.18. So again, it really is technically an overbought stock here. But long term, my price target is close to 110. So there's plenty of upside from these current levels. So 110, that's going to represent an upside of close to over 18% over the next 6 months. So it really depends if you're willing to take a position here, knowing that we could see a pullback down to $88, and that right there is going to be a support level to watch for AMD. Right, so a lot of stocks, well, it's kind of like a mixed day. So Nvidia now up to $813 per share, up another 1.7%. Absolutely incredible. This is an incredible move from Nvidia. So Daniel, what happened with Micron? So Micron is just seeing a little bit of a pullback after earnings. So they reported their earnings that we broke down, quadruple beat. I think it's just weakness from the stock price on really strong earnings. So if it does, I have a price limit on that where I'm going to be buying for Micron. Let's take a quick look on Walgreens. So trading it as 49.38, still down about 6% right now. But Nvidia has just been absolutely incredible, right? Just a huge rally. And let's just go back to Tesla for a second, and let's just try to see where or how much was that rally for Tesla. So they reported their earnings here, and this was on July 22nd. And you'll notice that July 22nd is when they reported their earnings. They also announced that they were going to be doing a split. So the stock did see a pullback after the earnings on right here, so 18% drop. But I'm pretty sure, or no, actually this was the run right here. Okay, so this was actually when they, their actual run started for the stock split move, and this was a 86% jump since August 11 until September 1st. So we're talking about 3 weeks worth of trading. 3 weeks. For Nvidia, this has been the rally here, and if you were to start here, this has also been a 50% move, right? So Tesla went up 86%. I think Apple also went up close to 50%. And Nvidia is also going up over 50%. But I think they announced a little bit earlier. So they've got more runway ahead of the actual split. I think Tesla only had about a month or less than like 3 weeks or something. Nvidia announced it on earnings here, May 26th. And now they're doing the split actually on July 22nd or 21st. So July 21st is when they're doing the split. So they've got a full 2 months, June and potentially 3 weeks of July, for this thing to continue to run higher. So NEO is still up over 1%, but drastically down from earlier levels. And AMD is still struggling to break out over $94, down about 1% here. XPeng is still up over 5%, but wow, so we were trading it as $48 right at the open, and now we're starting to see a pullback. It's still up over 5%, so that's pretty good for XPeng right now. So Mark AEVA, let's take a quick look on this stock. So down substantially from its all-time highs, a little bit over 52%. One point we were down over 60%. Alright, so Unity Software. I'll just come back to this stock in just 1 second. Unity Software is now starting to pull back, so that's good. That is good. That's what we want to see for Unity Software, at least in the medium term here. And if we do come down to kind of like this 105, 101 level, then I think that's going to set up for a good opportunity to kind of get in, because we're trading above the moving averages. Every time we validated the 21, the 50 EMA, we've seen these rallies higher, and this is again just a bit of a pullback considering the RSI, the MACD are trading at near overbought levels. So alright, so let's just go back to AEVA Technologies, down about 1.4%. So again, prior run up from here, up over 73%. So resistance at close to 1250-ish level. Previous support, resistance here a couple times. And right now I feel like we're just starting to form some type of a descending triangle as well. So there is going to be some support here, and we are just kind of forming this kind of descending triangle where we're getting rejected at these lower highs. So if this level doesn't hold up at 10, if $10 doesn't hold up, then I could see some more downside. But if we get a consolidation here, kind of fill in this channel for the stock, and the volume kicks in, and then we can see a successful breakout over this resistance back up to over 1250, potentially back up to over $14 levels in the future. All right, quick look on the market. So again, we're seeing a bit of a reversal here. So SPY's up over 30 basis points, the Dow Jones up over 20, and the Nasdaq is down over 2 basis points. So seeing a little bit of a pullback here from the from the Nasdaq here. Palantir selling off. There we go. Palantir with a huge dump here, down about 4.4%, trading as though it's 25.21. So Palantir definitely seeing a drastic pullback, right? So Palantir's analysis is again very simple. We're just coming down to those moving. Actually, we're seeing a breakdown below that support. We're just trading above the 21 EMA, right? 2750 was a resistance here. And once again, we're starting to see that breakdown. So, you know, the 21 EMA sitting at 25.20. Let's see if that level gets validated, if we kind of hold up above that level. If not, then we got the 50 EMA and the SMA sitting roughly at $23 per share. So 23 is about as low as I could see Palantir go in the future if we do see some more weakness from the stock and some more pullbacks. So Michael, can you do AMD again? So Michael, where have you been? AMD's just been rallying. I haven't seen you in a long time. But yeah, the rally was expected to stop, which is normal. 94.35 was a resistance here for AMD. You know, we talked about it in our previous videos, and this has just been the level, right? So resistance got hit on June 30th. Resistance got hit today as well, 94.18, and we're just seeing a bit of a pullback, which is very normal. BofA put a price target on AMD at close to 120 yesterday, or I think a couple days ago, and then Kramer on CNBC, not that I watch his analysis or opinion at all, but he also mentioned that AMD has a potential to go to 110 in the future. So I've had a price target of close to $110 for a while. Alright, so this right here, Tesla still roughly flat on the day. NIO starting to see a little bit of a recovery back up to over 1.6% on the day. And XPeng is now back up over 6%. Let's take a quick look on Apple here. Pretty much flat, not really going anywhere. Amazon coming down, flat on the day. Airbnb, it's up over 1.2%, but seeing a little bit of a pullback. Let's take a quick look on Upstart. Once again, same pattern, right? Up over 1.5%, but weakness intraday. Etsy is slightly down as well. Ooh, look at Etsy, just straight up down. Not a single green candle in the last like 20 minutes, 25 minutes, right? Just been a consistent downtrend here for Etsy. There's a lot of stocks, honestly, there's a lot of stocks on my buy list here that if they do come down to those specific levels, I would be happy. I would be happy to buy them because they've just gotten away, so much. Like if you take a look at Adobe, 3 months ago we did a video on Adobe stock, and how it was like very undervalued. It's a sticky business, right? Like if you're using Premiere Pro, I use Premiere Pro, people use Adobe Photoshop, somebody's using their product, chances are they're going to stick with their product for a very long time before switching over to something else. The only competitor really is a Final Cut Pro, right? Something used on MacBooks. But Adobe has been really, really strong company. I was not able to establish a bigger position. Like I did buy some at close to $425, I think $430. But I wanted to own more shares. But this stock has just been on complete tear. This year. So 36% jump. Then you look at companies like DocuSign, right? DocuSign is another company that's just gone parabolic recently, like 181, 59, almost 60% jump, right? All the way to highs of 286. Then you look at companies like CrowdStrike, right? CrowdStrike is something we also covered. Just a complete breakout over this moving averages, right? And a breakout over this ascending triangle, 42% jumps. These are companies that have, strong gross margins, great balance sheets, roadmap to more profitability, more growth in revenue, in a growing industry, right? So if they come down, man, 20%, 30%, like I would just, just buy more. Just buy more. And there's more. There's companies like Etsy too. Like Etsy is one of them. And we've got companies like SoFi is actually the one that I'm researching right now on a fundamental basis. And of course we got other software as companies. So Intuit, INTU. This is another one. Just absolutely look at the pattern here. Incredible pattern, right? These are the companies that you want to have in your core portfolio, right? Intuit, for those of you who are not aware, actually owns TurboTax. It's a service that almost everybody in the United States uses to file their taxes, right? Businesses, individuals, they also have Credit Karma, so a lot of other financial, personal finance services that they offer. So just a strong pattern after validating that higher low, May 10th, it's up over 28% from these levels. This is a strong ascending pattern in general. Twilio has also moved up a little bit, but this is also definitely on the watch list. Another company that I'm actually analyzing right now is Vimeo. VMEO. This was actually brought up by one of our Discord members. Recently IPO'd. It hasn't been long. May 25th is when they IPO'd. And this is actually a service that I'm actually using. So Vimeo is one that I'm actually using. I think they've got a very, very interesting proposition, which is very different from YouTube, right? I really like Vimeo as a service, and I would like to take a look at their revenues, which I'm obviously doing right now, and what valuation they're trading at, roughly at close to 8 billion, which I think is very small for like this video space that they're operating in. 8 billion is very small. So definitely doing some analysis on this. Yeah, so Palantir, I know that a lot of people are saying that Kathy Wood has just sold 700k shares. Again, it's less than 3%. It's 3% of her Palantir holdings. So Dilip, thank you so much. So congratulations, you're now patron of CASWRP. So thank you so much for joining in. I really, really appreciate that. And again, I will be doing this live stream for another like 10-15 minutes, and then we'll jump over to our Discord and spend some time with our Patreon members. But yeah, it's less than 3% of our portfolio, right? So I know there's a lot of panic about her selling Palantir, which is why it's down over 4%. But it doesn't mean that she thinks differently for Palantir, right? She was buying across all these dips, and of course, when the position gets too big, we see run up higher. Palantir runs up over 60%, 70% in the last like few weeks, 61% jump. Now it's very clear that if she was buying across all these dips here, it would influence Palantir as a position, would be influencing her portfolio a lot. So if she wants to free up some capital to buy something else, it makes sense why she wants to trim a little bit of Palantir, right? So it's very normal. It's not a big deal for her to be trimming Palantir. She's done that with Apple, she's done that with Amazon, she's done that with Square, she's done that even with Tesla, she's done that. It's kind of, you have to kind of free up some capital to buy up something else as well. And it could be a rebalancing thing, it could be a lot of different things, but we'll know. We'll know when ARK Invest starts to exit these positions to realize these gains. They'll do it pretty heavily. Like you'll see millions of shares exiting their portfolios when they actually do start selling. 700k in the grand scheme of things of 28 million, it's not a big deal in my opinion. So Neo's trying to make some type of a recovery here. So we'll see, but $55 is still the resistance, right? Still the level that we need to watch on the day. So let's take a quick look at AMC here. Pulling back over 1.5% on the main chart. We're just hovering over those moving averages. Like this pattern, I kid you not, is setting up for a really, really significant move. Only because, like just look at this pattern, just whole rally here, and we're staying pretty elevated, consolidating sideways. Could be seen as a bullish pennant, could be seen as a bull flag, could be seen as like a coiling in pattern, just setting up for a breakout. And this is the resistance at close to $60 to $61. Well, there's two support levels at close to 50, all the way as low as this level at close to $40. But yeah, strong resistance at that $61 level, right? Just consolidating sideways. So this could be setting up for a significant move. And if you bring out the 21 EMA, we're just getting aligned ourselves with that support. So 21 EMA is sitting roughly at $51. The more we get ourselves aligned with that support, so like this, we came back down and then a huge breakout happened, there's going to be a higher chance that we break out to the upside. The probability is quite high for us to see a breakout here. But with AMC, I think it's just been a matter of just patience and then reward. It's been reward, patience, right? So this entire time when AMC had the first squeeze back up to $20, think about that for a second. We did not see $20 again for a good 5 months, right? 5 months. It took 5 months for AMC to trade back up to $20. This entire time, it was just consolidating, kind of range bound in between, whatever, $5 to as high as $15. It was just trading sideways, and then we saw that explosive move. So it really depends on when volume comes back in. Right now, the volume was higher previously, and now we're just seeing a declining volume, right? So yesterday, volume for AMC stock was 59 million. The day before, 63 million. The day before, 99 million. So very, very low volume compared to in the past. But the good thing is that even on low volume, on declining volume, AMC is not going down. That's phenomenal. That's absolutely that's one of the best things about AMC stock right now, is that it's pretty elevated, right? So there's absolutely no selling pressure, knock on wood. So there's no selling pressure right now, and it's staying pretty elevated at those support levels. So that's good. So Adam, so if you join the YouTube channel perks, that's basically private live streams. The Patreon members get those private live streams once a month. We'll try to do them at least twice a month moving forward. And then the YouTube members also get those private live streams as well. So we break down like 40 plus stocks. We go over the macros. We go over our calendars and upcoming earnings as well. So there's a lot of other stuff that I don't share on these YouTube live streams that is covered in the private live streams. All right, let's go back over to this chart here very quickly. So NEO just consolidating sideways, Tesla pulling back, nothing crazy there. Airbnb is still up close to 2%, trading back over 156. And across the board, we are seeing the Dow Jones rally a little bit. All right, let's just take a look at the yields here. So surprising, the yields are down over 1%. The Nasdaq is still pulling back, and the Dow Jones, this right here is the chart. So all right, so we're back over those moving averages, but we're still just validating these lower highs. So what do you guys think? What is your guys' prediction for the Dow Jones here? Are we going to see a breakout over these lower highs? So that's going to be this lower high and lower low, or if we're going to see some type of a rejection from this, potentially back down to this level, or if you're going to see a breakout and then continue on this higher highs and higher lows. What do you guys think? Yes, so Jonathan, resistance for NEO is at $55. 55 is the resistance intraday that we need to watch for NEO stock. So macro downtrending channel for a while, in my opinion. So rejection. Yeah, so Eric, I'm doing my analysis on SoFi, doing some fundamental analysis, but technically there's a support at $18 for SoFi. So keep a close eye at that level, at close to $18 for SoFi right now. So the weekly chart, we've been validating the 21 EMA perfectly, and of course on the daily chart, we've been validating the 50 EMA. If I bring that out. So that's been the support for the Dow Jones. We briefly breached that support, broke down before kind of curling back up and pushing higher. So NEO seeing some weakness once again here. Let's take a look at some recovery stocks. Actually, I'm just going to go over to SPY Holdings. I want to see where travel is trading. So, right. So DraftKings up over 2%, Delta, Southwest, American Airlines, they're all up 2% each. MGM is up over 1.8%, so recovery seeing that push higher after the sell-off that we have seen over the last few weeks. So Royal Caribbean, Norwegian, and Carnival, they're all up 1% each. Nike is up. We got Netflix, probably the only FANG name that's up over 1% right now. Nvidia pulling back a little bit down to 806. Zoom Video is up over 67. Zoom has actually seen quite a bit of rally too, right, recently. So Zoom has basically surged past over this downtrending channel, and after validating that support at 276, up over 42%. So definitely strong move from Zoom Video, but of course the RSI, the MACD now is at almost overbought levels. All right, so moving along, we got Nextera Energy that's slightly up. Banking, we got MasterCard, Visa, Deutsche Bank that's up with JP Morgan. With Wells Fargo, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, they're all down slightly. All right, so NEO now starting to make new low of days. There's definitely a lot of weakness kicking in for NEO, so that's not very bullish. We are making lower highs and lower lows intraday as well. So is Tesla, coming down about 46 basis points. AMC seeing a little bit of recovery here. Kathy's cost basis for Zoom is at market price. Really? Where did you get that information, Marcel? I'd love to know. So remember, Monday is the markets are closed in observance of 4th of July. So tomorrow is going to be the last trading session of the week, and of course, I mean, it's a Friday, and then going into next week, we're going to have a shorter week. So Monday, we're not going to trade. But of course, this month there's a lot of catalysts coming up. I'm probably going to be live streaming tomorrow as well, a little bit earlier than usual, because the report comes out at 8:30 a.m. Eastern, the non-farm payrolls and the new unemployment rate, and the average hourly earnings, the participation rate, so on and so forth. So we're going to break that down very, very quickly as well tomorrow. All right, so thank you so much for joining in. We're probably going to end the live stream here. I'm going to spend some time in our Discord with our Patreon members, so all of you guys can find me there. Make sure that you guys check out the Webull and the Patreon link down in the description below. We just opened that up. So, of course, if you want to get access to our private Discord, the swing trading setups and ideas as well, we've got very limited spots available. So the link is going to be down in the description below. So thank you so much, everyone joining in. I really, really appreciate you guys. The link is going to be down in the description below if you wish to join our private Discord as well. So thank you so much for joining in. I really, really appreciate that. Make sure you guys drop that like, subscribe if you're new to the channel. We talk a lot about fundamental analysis, technicals, macros, and all, like the whole full 9 yards about the markets as well. So thank you so much for joining in. Have a great day. See you guys in the next live stream.